Hello, everyone. Thank you for helping us out with this program at the Bay County Public Library and meeting virtually. Today we are doing a program that I call Forest Spirits, and we're making this little guy, if you can see him. Okay, so it's kind of a recycling / gardening project, and it is part of the Teen Summer Program. Our theme this year is Imagine Your Story. So the theme is kind of like fantasy, mythology, folklore, that sort of thing. So I was trying to tie it all in. So this is the first video we're doing for the summer for the teen program. And how about we do some introductions first, okay? So you guys are from the Bay County Extension Office. Thank you so much for helping out today. We really appreciate it. I'm Sam. I'm the Teen Librarian at the Bay County Public Library.
And I'm Dr. Paula Davis, and I'm the 4-H agent with Bay County, working with youth ages 5 to 18. So teens, you fit right in. We are actually having even virtual 4-H teen clubs. So if you're interested in that, then you're welcome to contact us. And I've got a special helper and guest with me that I'll let introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Janet Psikogios, and I'm a program assistant and master gardener at the Bay County Extension Office. I work with Dr. Paula all the time.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thanks for coming to join us. So I'm going to start with, why did I choose the name Forest Spirits? So since the theme this year's fantasy, I found this little guy online and decided to do it myself, and he kind of reminded me of a lot of the forest spirits I have read about in mythology and folklore. For example, in Greek mythology, there are what is known as the nymphs. They are spirits that live in trees and bodies of water and mountains, and the dryads in particular live in trees. There's also, if you guys are fans of Japanese films, there is the movie Princess Mononoke, and it is by Studio Ghibli, and they have these little creatures called Kodama, if I'm pronouncing that right, Kodama. And they are little forest spirits as well, and they are a sign that the forest is healthy, and they are also in Japanese folklore, and they are thought to inhabit trees, kind of like the nymphs from Greek mythology. So, but I thought this guy was cute, and I'm gonna kind of start off with how I made him and what I did, and you guys are welcome to jump in and throw in any tips on soil or seeds or anything like that. Okay, so this little guy is marigolds. I just used marigolds in it, and I did this about a month ago, so they're already growing. I actually mixed potting soil with a little bit of compost, actually cow compost. So I didn't mix too much. I was afraid to burn them.
And in a container, it's probably best not to use any garden soil itself, because that can be too dense. And it can also have some harmful pests in it. So using a commercially available potting mix, any type of potting mix would do. And you can also make your own, and there's some University of Florida publications on the types of things that you can use to make up your own container soil. We'll provide those in the resources.
Nice, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I used a commercial potting soil for mine, so good. I'm glad I did that. Okay, so I took the little cap. This is just a 2-liter bottle. I will say some bottles are easier to cut than others. This is a Coke bottle that I used, okay? And it was pretty easy to cut. But I'm gonna cut this bottle. So what you do is you kind of choose a spot on the bottle, however tall you want it to be. You kind of see how tall I did mine. So I'm going to, well now actually before I get started cutting the middle, it might be easier for you to know that I also cut holes in the bottom of the bottle. I did that on this Coke bottle for drainage so that the roots would not rot, so that the water would run out of the bottom. Okay, So all I did, and again, some bottles are tougher than others. The Coke bottle was really easy to cut the bottom. If you can see how I just kind of take my scissors and I cut here. This bottle's been pretty tough, so if it's really hard for teens, you might want to get some adult help, okay? But just do it in I cut a hole in every one of these little feet on the bottom of the bottle, if you guys can see, okay? But now I'm gonna cut the bottle in half. So you really, again, you gotta be really careful. Try to squeeze the bottle, squeeze it, and you gotta cut, okay? Just get it started. And then everybody can still see what I'm doing here. I cut all the way around. Try to keep it kind of even, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
And while you're doing that, I'll put in another, if you have trouble, you can use just a regular like nail and push through, or use a hammer and push through, and that'll work as well.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Okay, so now you guys, you can actually save these for other projects, like the project that Dr. Paula here might show us in a little bit. Or for other projects, maybe other craft projects, okay? But for my project, for this little guy, we're just gonna use the bottom, okay? Now, the reason I took off the bottle cap is this is actually his nose. So if you can glue it, tape it. If you're gonna glue it, I'd say hot glue. That usually works best. I use duct tape on this guy. So, and it stays on. And you can use Google Eyes. You can still see him. Okay, can everybody still see him? I use Google Eyes, but you can always paint on eyes too if you don't have any Google Eyes. My cat went flying. Okay, so I'm not gonna put the cap on right now. You can do that later. All right, so I'm going to, I actually brought some potting soil and a little bit of compost in containers. So let me see, this is the potting soil. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. It's gonna be, for me, I did about 2/3 potting soil to 1/3 compost. I didn't want to put too much compost because again, it might burn the seeds. So, but compost actually kind of gives it like extra fertilizer.
Compost does add some nutrients to the soil. It also adds some organic matter, which helps with the mixture of the soil that you're using in there. If the compost has already been made, it's not going to be what we call hot, and so there's less probability of injuring the roots. But if you're not sure about if it's hot, and that means it's still breaking down, the materials are still breaking down from the raw materials into the finished compost pile, it's better to use just not quite so much in your mix.
Okay, and I'm actually going to be using chives, okay? So I did marigolds in the other one, I'm going to use chives in this. I chose these because Dr. Paula suggested these were as non-toxic. You know, so if you're keeping these in your house, you might want to be aware of if your pets or go near them or little kids, anything like that.
And you can cook with those, so that makes it even better.
That's
you
always
can put it in the
too.
windowsill and you can snip it and cook with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought they looked kind of cute in a windowsill. That's where I actually set this guy. So I also thought about talking about if you're going to put these guys outside, maybe you could plant something for bees or pollinators, maybe even.
Neat thing with flowers is if you're using flowers, it will attract pollinators. And we actually will give you a link that talks about what draws in, like bees really like certain colors, and butterflies like certain other colors and that sort of thing.
Bees are attracted to blues, purples, violets, whites, yellows, they have a little bit more trouble with some of the reds, but the butterflies love reds and yellows, pinks, oranges. You know, and again, the type of pollinator you attract is based on the color and the shape of the flower, and sometimes even the scent, because that'll attract certain pollinators. Because there's a lot of different things besides bees and butterflies that help pollinate our plants.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw in a little bit. I've got it mostly filled. I'm gonna do, this is my compost, okay? This is cow compost. When I say cow, it came from a cow. So in other words, from their poop. Can you, I actually do make compost at home too with vegetables that I throw out. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about how people make their own compost too?
Sure, and I want to caution you with your cattle compost, you want to be sure that it's set for long enough that you won't have a problem, especially if you're using like with herbs and that sort of thing. You want it to be prepared properly and have had some rest time before you use your compost that's straight manure.
Oh yes, I actually bought my compost from the store, so.
Perfect. So that one's already had time, you know, to digest and take care of everything.
Yeah, cow compost is, I buy cow compost from the store, but sometimes I'll make my own, what I call the vegetable compost, where I use eggshells and coffee grounds, but that's different than cow compost.
It is, it is.
To make your own compost, you can use any kind of plant material. Don't use anything that has a disease on it, or if you have a lot of weed seeds or something like that. But if you have your waste from your kitchen, you know, peels and stuff like that, don't use meat products or dairy products themselves. I mean, don't put milk in it or put meat scraps in it or something like that. Because if you're making it outside, that can attract other pests that you may not want in your yard. But any kind of plant material will break down over a period of time and give you some really good compost.
Okay, thank you guys. Oh, what was it? I had another question about bees too. I read somewhere, and I wanted to make sure too, just for our viewers who are watching, can you tell if seeds or plants are harmful to bees? Is there such a thing as being harmful to bees before you buy them? I've heard that some can come with chemicals on them that might harm bees. Have you guys heard of that before?
If you want a pollinator-friendly garden, it's best not to spray your plants, especially with discourage any of the pollinators. And so you spray them during the time when they're active, which is usually the mornings and the afternoons. But there are some plants that you can purchase at the store that will have tags in them that'll say that this plant has been treated with chemical. And so some people are a little bit concerned about what those might be doing to any of the pollinators out there.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and plant my seeds, my little chive seeds. So I'm gonna read the package too, because it'll tell you how deep to plant them. And it says about 1/4 of an inch for these guys. So I'm gonna try and get the dirt almost all the way to the top. So I'm leaving some space here, because that way I can just kind of, the way I've done it, and there might be a better way to do it if you guys know. I just kind of sprinkle the seeds in, and then I cover it up with about 1/4 of an inch of dirt. So I put them in my hand so that I can actually spread them out a little bit more evenly instead of just dumping them in. So I'm just gonna take them, I'm just gonna sprinkle them in. If everybody can still see what I'm doing. Okay.
And you're spreading them out. That's the important thing, is so they're not right on top of each other.
Okay. And I'm just gonna put a little bit more dirt on top. This is my potting soil again. This is my compost, this is my potting soil. Okay. I'm gonna try and not do all the way to the top because when I water it, I don't want the water to overflow over the sides. So. Okay. I think that'll probably do, and definitely I'd water it later. Make sure you have something underneath it because the water's gonna run out the drainage holes, which is what you want. Okay. All right, so that's that. Do you guys have any more tips on this particular project? Anything I could have changed maybe, or is there something you can do better?
No, I just wanted to mention that the drainage holes are important in any kind of container that you do plant things in. But you do want to make sure, like you said, that there's some kind of a container underneath, because when you water, someone's going to come out those drainage holes, and so you catch it and don't get it all over your windowsill or wherever the heck you happen to be.
Thank you. All right. Anything else, or do you guys want to mention a couple projects that you wanted to talk about, or anything else you wanted to mention?
Sure. I'm gonna just do a quick share here, maybe. So this is another way that you talked about using both parts of the 2-liter. And there's actually a video by the Florida Department of Ag that shows you how to put this together, and I've included that link. But that way you could see if you wanted to do like a windowsill of your different herbs like you're planting now, you could do it. And this, the nice thing with it is it has water control because it's got a piece of cotton coming out the bottom of the 2-liter lid into the water. So the water will wick up the cotton and it won't over soak or saturate your herbs.
Oh, nice. That looks really cool.
And if you wanted to make them fun and foresty, you could dress them up with different faces and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, you could paint faces on or draw with markers. So that looks really cute. I like that too.
So that's just another version that you could do.
Nice. I like it. Well, I think I was done with my part of the project. Did you guys have anything else?
No, I think it's exciting that you're doing some gardening and gardening programs. We've got some summer day camps. We've got Touring Florida. We've got gardening basics, plant science from plant to seed to table. There's like 44 different Florida Ag Adventure camps that are virtual this year since we can't meet face to face. So like you, we're doing lots of virtual things. So that's kind of exciting, and we'll share that link up on the screen so you guys can see that, or you can just Google Florida 4-H Summer Adventures and it'll come up that way too.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, we also are going to have some more programs, so everybody stay tuned. We will have definitely more teen programs and programs for all ages, and we're going to do them all virtually. So
awesome.
Yeah, so everybody can go to the Northwest Regional Library Systems website, which is nwrls.com. We have a Facebook, Bay County Public Library. We also have a teen Instagram, BCPL_teens. So, all right. And we'll have some slides at the end with some suggested teen fiction reading for the summer that all kind of have a forest theme. And we're going to show a slide with all the resources that the Bay County Extension Office has sent us for you guys to use for your gardening.